Another one for Tommy boy. Another one for the world. Another one for the listeners.
We are back for the Third Leg Podcast, episode number 25. Right? 25?
Yeah.
Something like that?
25, quarter of the way to 100.
Yes, sir. Close to 2,000. As always, I'm your host, Riley Warren, and along with me today is my co-host, Dr. Dunny. How you doing? How you been, buddy?
Pretty good. Ready to get into the NFL. You know, it just keeps counting down. I think I might have a checkmark wall over here that I'm just, crossing the tallies, ready to get it going.
Yeah, I think they said, imagine you're sitting on your couch 4 weeks from today. So 1 month from today, we'll be planted on our couch, refreshing your fantasy football, your parlays, your straight bets, everything your degenerate ass lives for. Football season has the offer. We can't wait. Today, we're talking about the NFC South, one of the worst divisions in the NFL. But there is a little upside to it, so don't go anywhere. Dunny, start us off, baby.
Well, as far as favorites to win the division, we're looking the four teams: Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Bucks, kind of in that order. Saints at plus 125, Falcons plus 215, Panthers plus 400, and Bucks plus 800. So according to DraftKings, what I just looked at, truthfully, this is a division that 7 and 10 might win the division because all four teams are not that good. I think last year Tampa Bay won the division at 8-9. So great. Don't feel confident about betting any of these teams, that's for sure. Rolling with it, the Saints, I think, are far not the best team in the division. Over-under set at 9.5. If you take the over, so they have to win 10 games, that's plus 105. Prediction-wise, I do see them at 10-7. They have some winnable games. They did get matched up with the AFC South. They also drew the Patriots, which I think they can win. They should beat the rookie-led Colts and Texans because their defense is stout. The Saints always have a good defense. You look at Cam Jordan, Marshawn Lattimore. You got Tyrann Mathieu, which they just signed to play safety with them. This is a good defense. Their question comes down to, okay, can their quarterback win them football games? And Derek Carr historically has been someone who is right around that 500. Offense could be really good because they have Chris Olave. They have Michael Thomas. They have Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams. Alvin obviously is suspended for 3 games because of the fight in Las Vegas that he was a part of. But when he comes back, this offense could be good. It just depends on who's going to show up. They have the ultimate utility knife as well in Taysom Hill. So we'll see.
For sure. I'm right there with you. I would like to disagree, but I can't. I think they're going to win 9-10 games. I like them a lot to win this division. That's obviously why they're the favorite at plus 125. They have the best quarterback in the division. That's for sure with Derek Carr. He's playing this year with a chip on his shoulder, getting kicked out of Raider Nation. He took pride in trying to make that team what it was before Devontae was even there. There was always a lot of problems around coaching, management, personnel in general. They had the Antonio Brown bullshit that happened. They just had a lot of shit in like a 3-4 year stint that I think having a new start for him is going to be good. I think he's going to utilize what the Saints have around the ball, especially once Kamara gets back. I don't think he's been able to have such a dynamic skill group of players. So it looks up for him in my point of view. Like you said, you have Chris Olave and Michael Thomas and a great defense. Last year, they're 5th in total defense and 9th in points allowed. So they're not just talking they should be a good defense. They are a good defense, and they have been a good defense. Their offense it hasn't been able to put up numbers. Primetime games, they always shit the bed. They barely score 20 points in primetime games, and their offensive play was just abysmal. I don't mind having Taysom Hill, but when you start to see him on the field a little more than usual, then you know your offense is struggling.
Right.
And that was a sign of the last few years. They had to implement him more because they had a lack around the ball. So I love him. I like he's not pure gimmick, but at the end of the day, I don't think he should have 10 snaps on the field as quarterback.
No, 100%. I agree with you.
So hopefully Derek Carr, locks that shit down. Maybe they do some gimmicky shit around the goal line or, 4th and 2s, 4th and 1, bullshit like that. Like you said, no Kamara for first 3 weeks. We'll see how this, kind of affects them. One thing is they do have a new coach.
Right.
And their coach historically is bad. He's 15-38 and has never cleared a season total for him. I mean, it's pretty apparent when you're 15-38, but
damn.
And then for Carr, his 4 worst years of his career are starting with a new offensive coordinator. The fact that he's had 4 different offensive coordinators is pretty fucked up, but you would assume those would be his down years, getting the system under his belt. That's pretty much, it's like one of the biggest things for a quarterback, getting a system that they both are on page with and then developing and using the skilled players around the ball to make them more comfortable. Usually takes about a year to do that. It takes a lot of losses and a lot of fuck ups to be able to gain trust and figure out what you're actually trying to do. So we'll see. Those are the few bad things I had about them. But in my eyes, they're still plus money. And I still think they have the best shot to win it.
For sure. As far as if you're looking at what each of these teams is going through right now, question marks at quarterback, questionable defenses, they erase one of them, right? So they automatically put themselves above the other teams. In like you said, I think 9-10 wins is very doable. Wouldn't be surprised if they go under though.
Yeah, well, I think they beat the Panthers twice and the Bucks twice. So they start off with 4. If they split with the Falcons, they're at 5.
Right.
So I don't think 10 is super crazy, just given how shit this division is.
Agreed. 100%.
So I don't think they're, we'll see though. I think this team has one of the most potential, not in the league, but in this side of the division and stuff like that, because they have a lot of moving pieces that you just have no idea until the season starts. So they're a team to watch out for.
Right. The next is the Falcons. Over under set at 8.5 minus 120. Just doing the quick rundown breakdown, I had them at 8-9. Again, this is a team that is Desmond Ridder the dude? I don't know. Is Kyle Pitts actually as good as everyone thinks he should be? I don't know. Bijan has been looking really good in training camp. Obviously, he's their new Corvette that they just bought and are driving onto the
shiny
training
red
camp,
with
right?
The rims, baby.
But their defense, is it going to hold up against the tougher teams that they have to play? We'll see. Cordell Patterson, he's fun to watch when they get him the ball. He can kick return, he can punt return, he can do it all. I have too many questions about Desmond Ridder. I don't trust him.
I respect it. I mean, at the end of the day, there's no team in the NFL that you're going to be super high on if you don't know what the quarterback's going to do at the end of the day. For me, I love this offense.
All right.
If it wasn't for Ridder, who I think has good upside, he's got weapons around him to maybe limit the risks he has to take as long as he doesn't forcefully take them himself. It's gonna come down to the offense coordinator and the head coach, seeing how well they can reel him in and keep him by himself and out of his own head. And, just being able to let a rookie and young quarterback play the season, learn on his own, and just go through the season. He's got Kyle Pitts and then Cordell Patterson. Those are the 2 players that people expect things from. Kyle Pitts, like you said, we just don't know. He's a freak athlete. Everybody knows he's a freak athlete. It's just how well does that transfer in this system and in the NFL? So we'll see. Those are the question marks. Everyone expects Drake London and Bijan to do big things this year. And if either one of them doesn't do big things, I think this team's in big trouble because they need a star on the outside that's not Cordell. And they need a good running game to be able to have play action, to be able to suck up the safeties, have more one-on-one, with Pitts and their outside receivers, that is like super fucking key when you have an average or a young quarterback. That's why the Lions do it so much. You have to establish a running game because you're not going to throw it 50 times a game for 15 weeks and expect to do well. So there's variables, but I believe this team can, if the quarterback position is filled and turnovers are not a big factor for this team, I think they can do really well and compete for the division. I think they're an 8 or 9 win team. And they're probably the best value in the division because they're a plus 220.
Yep.
If you think the Saints and the Falcons are right around the same bar, plus 125 or plus 220, it's good. It's a good value for them. It's not something I love. It's not something that I would risk my last dollar on or anything, but based off of this division, it's a 2-team division at the end of the day. So it's going to come down really to the split and see how well they do against each other head up, because they both should be able to beat the Panthers and the Bucks. It's going to come down to, the split and how well they are. But yeah, I think the Falcons are going to do a little better than what people think. I think their line I think the Saints and the Falcons line should be the same.
Okay. All right. I mean, I don't hate that either. The Falcons, I know last year they did pretty well as far as run blocking for Cordell when in the first beginning of the season before he got hurt. I think he was like a top 7 fantasy running back.
Dude, he was.
So if Bijan can step in and be even more dynamic for this offense, it's going to do nothing but help Desmond Ridder. They played at so many games last year in which they had to try and score 1,000 points because their defense was giving up 2,000. So it's who can get stops. Obviously, everyone thought they were going defense in the beginning of the draft. They chose the new shiny Corvette, so hopefully it pays off for them. I'm taking the under if you held a gun to my head, but
hey, it's respectable. Like I said, it's all going to come down to the quarterback, like this league mostly does. But it's up to the running game to be able to take the weight off of his back and not make him throw 35 times. If he can throw under 30 times a game and they have a established running game with play action tight end, play action deep ball with Cordell, play action, then they're set up for success. And they will be able to stay on the field as an offense a little longer compared to last year where their defense was pretty much on the field the entire year.
Right.
So yeah, Saints, Falcons, I think they are going to have a very close fight for this division title, to say the least.
And then you have the other 2 teams.
And then you have the bottom feeders. So the Panthers, plus 350. I don't know fucking how. Plus 350. Don't do it. The third best odds to win the division. They have rookie quarterback Bryce Young, new head coach Frank Wright. You get a new head coach and you get a rookie quarterback. The hazards are everywhere around the team. Warning. They just let go of DJ Moore, sent him to another team that needed talent around the ball, Chicago Bears. I don't like this team. I don't like it one bit. I know we said Tampa is going to be one of the worst teams, but if the Panthers start off 0-8, I wouldn't be surprised if they shut down CJ extremely early this year because they know their ass. And they know that Tampa Bay is going to be tanking their ass off because they want the Caleb Williams sweepstakes, So I think these two are going to be fighting for who's worse in the division. I don't have any trust in CJ Stroud preseason. Unbiased, I just don't think he's got enough to sway the Carolina bar at all. I don't think they have anything down there that's worth a shit. I fear that he's going to be trying to get wins on his own and trying to extend plays and do what rookies do. And it's going to be for nothing because their team is going to be ass. You know what I mean? I feel like he's one of those players that could injure himself on a third down when they're down 20 type player because he just wants to win and he's a rookie and that's how it goes. And I just feel that the Panthers are not going to be that team this year. I think they're going to if their ceiling for me is 5 wins.
Right.
Their ceiling. If they got 5, that's a huge W for Carolina in
No,
my
I feel
eyes.
you there for sure.
I don't even know any receivers down there. I can't name them. I don't know. I
So
knew DJ Moore. I knew him.
I can only tell you who their receivers are because I literally went to ESPN's depth chart to look it up while you were talking. Because Adam Thielen, who we kind of talked about from Minnesota, did end up signing there. So that's one of them. DJ Chark is there, and then they have Terrence Marshall Jr. So no names that are like screaming, "Oh, number one receiver." You know, Thielen's a little old. Chark never has been, and Terrence Marshall, I don't, nothing screaming. I'm gonna get open every time.
Right. Yeah, and usually when you get a rookie quarterback, you have somebody there.
Right.
Somebody to lean on, whether it's a great tight end that's been there for 5+ years or just a stud at receiver that you're hoping that becomes the duo. They don't have either of those. They need to tank another year, do well in the draft, and try again next year because they just don't have the pieces to play.
Right, and unfortunately, they, like you just said, they traded away the one dude that if he was still there, you'd be like, okay, DJ Moore is going to get open for him to throw the ball to. So I also don't believe in the Panthers very much. Their over-under set at 7.5, which I think you absolutely smashed the under on this because I do not trust in a rookie quarterback. Their defense I don't trust either. Obviously, this team absolutely destroyed the Detroit Lions last year when we needed a win pretty bad.
300+ rushing yards.
Because of the run game. But I think it was a fluke. Obviously, they went 7-10 last year, so they have a chance to be decent. They have a couple good talented guys on defense, Brian Burns being one of them, fun edge rusher to watch. But looking at their schedule, I took them at 4-13. I think they probably split with the Bucks. They probably beat the Texans because I think their defense might be better than the Texans. And then I think they beat the Colts because the Colts are going to be relying on Anthony Richardson. I'm not a big Anthony Richardson fan. So 4-13, probably going to be under. This is going to be one of the ones that I'm like, when we recap, okay, what bets do we really like for the NFL season?
Panthers under, baby.
Taking the under.
I like that as well. I think it's crazy that the Panthers or the Bucks are supposed to win more than 5 games. Like if it was me, their line's at 5 flat, 5.5 maybe. So
for sure.
I think there's more value in this division going under than there is on the top 2 teams going over.
Oh, 110%.
Like I could see the Bucks not covering 6.5, and I could see the Panthers not covering 7.5 more than I could see the Saints winning more than 9.5 games.
I am right on par with you there. I wholeheartedly agree. The Bucks line being at 6.5 is an absolute joke to me. And Vegas obviously is kind of trying to bait people plus 120 for over 6.5 wins. You got to believe in Baker Mayfield if you're going to take the over. And I don't believe in Baker Mayfield.
No, you'd have to be Baker Mayfield's mom to take this plus 120 at over 6.5. I'm serious. No bullshit. You would have to be a loving spouse. And don't do that because they'll fucking get you. Trust me. So the Bucks are just, this is the lingering effects of winning a Super Bowl and getting Tom Brady. This was what everyone knew was going to happen. All the owners, all the management. But was it worth it? Was that Super Bowl worth it? Yeah, it probably fucking was. Because you don't know whenever you'll get a Super Bowl again.
That's true.
You'll never know when you'll have that opportunity. They had the opportunity. They got one. Can't be mad about it. Didn't have one for like 20 years before that. It's like Warren Sapp and Barber and stuff. So They got Baker this year. Big downgrade from Tom Brady. He does come in with a chip on his shoulder. Baker always does. He's fired up, ready to go. Could be looking this. I put this on the notes. Bucks equal old roster. They're old. They have a few very good skilled position players that I wouldn't be surprised if they try to offload and go for the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get rid of Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, or Devin White, maybe a combination of all of them. Offload as many as you can, get picks, get young talent, go for the draft. Hopefully you're good in 5 years with Caleb Williams. I would put the crib Meemaw's crib on under 6.5 this year. And if they go over, fuck me. But I'm sorry, Meemaw. You can come live with me. But 6.5 is fucking nuts for an atrocious team that needs to tank. They need to tank. They need a better quarterback. They need a quarterback that isn't already 8-9 years in the league and proven nothing. So there's going to be a few teams like the Texans and the Bucks who will be battling each other all year to be the worst team. That's what they have to do. Caleb's that big of a talent, and they're in need that much of a quarterback. So it's going to be fun to watch the super tanking this year. Let me tell you that.
Hey, I wholeheartedly agree with what you just said. I have said it a couple times on this podcast. The Bucks are going to be the worst team in the NFL this year, and it's not going to be close. I did say they might win 4 games. That was giving them splitting with the Falcons, splitting with the Panthers. Sorry, and then beating the Texans because I don't trust their rookie quarterback even more than I don't trust Baker Mayfield. They get some pretty hard draws because they did win the division last year, so they get to match up with Philly. They get to match up with Buffalo. They get to match up with San Fran. Like, those are games that you're gonna get your ass kicked, and it ain't gonna be
fucked.
pretty. Yeah.
At the end of the day, this team is fucked. I just hope, like I said, none of their good players get hurt so they can get value out of them, and those players can go try to win a Super Bowl somewhere else. Because this is going to be a rebuild. If you're on this team and you don't already know, then you're fucked. Because
For sure.
Everyone should know that this is a rebuild. They don't have anything worth a shit for them to build around right now that is young enough to expect a chip in the next 5. So it's got to be a fresh rebuild.
Definitely. Hopefully Mike Williams gets out of the NFC South so Marshawn could quit, terrorizing him every time they play. And Devin White already asked for a trade, so he's kind of backtracking on a little bit, saying he was selfish, but he did already ask for a trade, so the process has already started.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hard to even talk about it because it's going to be on repeat for the next 17 weeks. Who's going to tank more for Caleb? But this is going to be a front runner. If you want to take the under on the Panthers and the Bucks, I love it. The Bucks for sure. It's one of plus 120 for 7 wins is insane.
No, I mean, you're not wrong. I'm going to go to DraftKings
plus
real
1,000. There should be no fucking way this team wins 7 games. If Baker Mayfield turns into fucking Brett Favre this year, maybe. But even then.
Carolina Panthers under 7.5. You get at plus 100, so even money. Let's see, Tampa
under
Bay.
Bucks. See if they have Meemaw's house option.
Tampa Bay under 6.5. You get at minus 140. You take under 5.5. You're up to plus 130 already.
Yeah, I might just ladder them all the way to plus 1.5.
Tampa Bay under 2.5 plus 750.
Jesus Christ, dude! They could be 2-win team this year.
They really could. I mean, look at their schedule. It's ridiculous. They got screwed because they won the division last year.
All right, I just might have to ladder a team. I've never did that before. I've never laddered an under. That screams degenerate.
SPJ's rubbing off on you.
Oh God.
The
ladders, baby. At least it's not my own team.
That's true.
I'll do that one and not tell you on the podcast. That'll be my sneaky link. All right, so take your shot. Who's winning the division? Who's going to be the worst in the division?
I mean, I think the Saints are going to win the division, and then like I just said, and I've said a bunch of times, the Bucks are going to be the worst team in the NFL. So if you could, parlay that together somehow, I think the Saints definitely win the division because, again, I'm not trusting in Atlanta's offense, and I trust in defense. So I guess New Orleans has the best chance at winning football games because the other team might not be able to score many points. Yeah, I think that would be the 2 bets.
I respect it. I like it. If there's any over I like this year, it'd be the Falcons. Just to win 9 games, not even to win the division. The Saints could win 10, and go 2-0 against them for all I
Right.
know. But I think the Falcons are going to be a little sneaky this year.
Hey,
They can play defense. That's what they've been saying for the last 5 years down there in Atlanta. But if they could play defense one year, they might do something.
wouldn't that be nice?
That would be nice. All right, you got anything else, buddy?
No, that's it. I mean, NFC South, real tough to talk about.
Yeah, like we said, we do think this division is pretty fucking junk. So hopefully you guys stuck with us and listened to our reasoning, at least, to why we think they're junk.
Another just fact for everyone is every team in this division had more points scored against them than they scored last year. So that's real fun.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, defense is not a thing, dude. This is the fucking Pac-12 over here. All right, if you guys missed episode number 24, we went through our 6-pick Super Goat for our prize picks. Make sure you guys check that one out. Let us know in the comments who you liked and who you didn't like. We would love to know if we're getting faded or you guys are tailing.
The full fade. The
full fade. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us for episode number 25. As always, thank you guys so much, and we will see you next time.
Peace.
Another one for Tommy boy. Another one for the world. Another one for the listeners.